was written, right up to here. After that, it wasn't written, and then it was wrong. So essentially, that's how we date Daniel. Likewise, here we can do that with Enoch, which is written, parts of it anyway. This book of the dream vision is making similar kinds of apocalyptic predictions, just like are in the book of Daniel. Okay, so we want to look at a couple little portions of the text. And so one of the things that I first was always drawn to when I was a kid, there's an expansion of this flood story, so one of the few stories that exists in Genesis about the time period before Noah. And so there is an explanation in Genesis that's kind of brief, and again, we don't really understand what it's about, and that kind of begs for an expansion. There's a vast expansion of that in the book of Enoch that explains what's going on, and so we'll read a little bit of it here. It came to pass when the children of men had multiplied, that in those days were born unto them beautiful and comely daughters. And the angels, the children of the heavens, saw and lusted after them, and said one to another, Come, let us choose us wives from among the children of men, and beget us children. And Semjaza, who was their leader, said unto them, I fear ye will not indeed agree to do this deed, and I alone shall have to pay the penalty of this great sin. So he's got all these guys, they're like saying, hey, wouldn't that be great to go down and get some of these lady humans, And they're like, he's like, you're gonna turn on me. And so no, they all answered and said, let's swear an oath and all bind ourselves by mutual imprecations, not to abandon this plan, but to do this thing. So they take a blood oath together. And they were all they were in all 200 who descended in the days of Jared on the summit of Mount Hermon. And these are the names of their leaders. Samlazaz, their leader, Eric Labla, Ramiel, Kokablel, Tamlel, Ramel, Danel, Ezekiel, Berakwajal, Asael, Amoros, Patarel, Anal, Zakiel, Samsabel, lots of angels. So this is way more angel names than we actually get in the Bible, right? And so now we're to this era now where these are actually the fallen angels, right? So these are the bad angels. And so we get a whole bunch of demon names here. Okay, but then after they go and do it, and they go and have the kids, and they then create kind of a new kind of hybrid society. One of the things they do in the story is then they also do this thing like Prometheus does in Greek mythology, where he gives fire to people. So all these angels now give all kinds of secret knowledge to humanity, and so humans can now have cities and have weapons of war, and they can have books and things like that because they're taught all these forbidden knowledge by the bad angels. So then when that all happens, back up in heaven, the good angels are kind of looking down. So then Michael, Uriel, Raphael, and Gabriel looked down from heaven and saw how much blood being shed upon the earth, and all the lawlessness being wrought upon the earth. And they said to the Lord of the ages, Lord of lords, God of gods, King of kings, and God of the ages, and that actually goes on to give you a ... there, because otherwise it could take on forever. Thou seest what Azazel has done, so what one of these bad angels hath done, who hath taught all unrighteousness on earth, and revealed the eternal secrets which were preserved in heaven. So he's given away all this secret knowledge. They have gone to the daughters of men upon the earth, they have slept with the women and defiled themselves, and revealed to them all kinds of sins. And now the women have borne giants, and the whole earth is thereby filled with blood and unrighteousness. And so this is the origin, for example, in the Genesis story of the people like Goliath, right? So giants in the earth. So God sends then the archangel Uriel to warn Noah and his family of the coming flood, and he sends Michael and the other archangels to go after these fallen angels to bind them, right, and cast them into the pit. And so anyway, so this is a big expansion of a couple verses in Genesis, and it's actually way longer in Enoch than that. So one of the things that this gives us, though, is this angelology, and actually these names of the four archangels. So this is a Christian church that has Uriel, Michael, Gabriel, and Raphael, right? And so there they are in the stained glass. And so this becomes a very important source for angelology, the book of Enoch. So for these archangels, Michael, Gabriel, Raphael, and Uriel, they only make it into the Hebrew Bible, Michael, Gabriel, and Raphael, in the book of Daniel here. And then Raphael is in the book of Tobit, which is actually one of the deuterocanonical books of the Apocrypha, so it isn't actually in the Tanakh, right? And so Daniel, again, you can see this is again this late book, the related book, a book where they have these kind of apocryphal, or rather apocalyptic concern roles in the Christian New Testament. Likewise, comes the real, like I say, it's in that church we see those four angels, even though Uriel doesn't actually make it. Close. Close names. Okay, so this also then becomes the real, like I say, it's in that church we see those four angels, even though Uriel doesn't actually make it into any of the canon. So there is not, so also Uriel is sometimes, for example, as people kind of created this kind of angels of the four corners of the earth, of the four elements, earth, fire, and water, of the cardinal directions, and just stories about angels. And these are their names. The first of them is Samja, and just stories about angels. It's also then a source of this demonology, right? So we have all these names of demons. So behold the names of those fallen angels, and these are their names. The first of them is Samjaza. The second is Artaquifa. The third is Armen. The fourth is Kokabel, and so on and so forth. So we have lots and lots of names of devils that also then get mined for black magic, right, and sorcery and things like that. And part of the ideas of even the later mythologies and elaborations of the stories of hell and things. I'm going to quote a little bit of this one. In the next tier of the fallen angels, we have some of the things that these angels taught all of humans, right? So the secret knowledge. So the third of the second tier of fallen angels is Gadriel, he who showed it to the children of men all the blows of death. And he led astray Eve, by the way. So now we have the identity of the person who did that. And he showed the weapons of death to some of the sons of men, the shield and the coat of mail and the sword for battle, and all the weapons of death to the children of men. And then the fourth is named Penamui, and he taught the children of men the bitter and the sweet. He taught them all the secrets of their wisdom, and he instructed mankind in writing and with ink and paper, and thereby many sinned from eternity and eternity into this day. So people are sinning, they've been told by the demons both the sword and the pen, and they've been able to use those for unrighteousness ever since, according to the book of Enoch. Okay, it's also, and one of the reasons why it was so important to early Christians, it's also a big source of messianism, and this was also why they elected it Qumran. So the Dead Sea Scrolls people are very much people on the outs with the contemporary authorities in Jerusalem. They've been kicked out of being able to be the priests in Jerusalem, and they're looking forward to a day when they and their interpretation and their calendar and every other one of these kind of ideas about purity, when a massive apocalyptic event will occur, and they will be the righteous ones that are going to be restored in a new Jerusalem and a new temple, messianic figures that are coming with that. So, for example, here's another portion of Enoch about Messiah. So I saw, and there I saw one who had a head of days, and his head was white like wool. So there's one big white-headed guy in the sky. And with him was another being whose countenance had the appearance of a man, and his face was full of graciousness, like one of the holy angels. And I asked the angel who went with me, so Enoch is going through heavens having this vision. He's got an angel guide, which is one of the ways you always have these kind of visions. It's like in the book of Revelation, which is another apocalypse. So I asked the angel who went with me and who showed me all the hidden things concerning that Son of Man, who he was, and whence he was, and why he went with the head of days. So who is the Son of Man? And this title, important apocalyptic title in Second Temple Jewish apocalypticism. And the angel answered and said unto me, This is the Son of Man, who hath righteousness, with whom dwelleth righteousness, and who revealed all the treasures of that which is hidden, because the Lord of spirits has chosen him, and whose lot hath the preeminence before the Lord of spirits in uprightness forever. For in those days the elect one shall arise, and he shall choose the righteousness and the holy from among them, for the day has drawn nigh that they should be saved. So you can kind of see here, why this, was something that early Christians kind of read and looked forward to, and they saw in terms of their understanding of Jesus as the Messiah, or as the Greek version for that is Christ. Why they're kind of then seeing, in the title, that's all we have time to dip our oars in, but salvation and where the righteous are vindicated. So. That's all we have time to dip our oars in, but I'll just say then, there's actually an amazing amount to this book. It's it's substantial, it's a long book, and it's had a very long reach. So it has affected, even though it didn't make it into the canon in the Christian West, it actually has ended up influencing our ideas about angels and demons, and it also influenced, it was also very characteristic of Second Temple Jewish thought, at least among the apocalyptic group. How did this thing come out of the root? It's impressive. I'm pulling illustrations from Ethiopian Bibles, right? And so zooming over there's an angel that's slaying a devil, so this is very likely Michael, and it's very likely Lucifer. Is anything sticking out at us at what these stories are? I can't identify them all for you. That's a devil, yeah. Yep. That's why I picked that one.
Can you give a word on the? There are 3 or 4 books of Enoch. The tradition of where it carried in thought between Enoch 1, 2, 3.
You read that in Genesis, right? You maybe aren't. A kind of Messiah figure who was alive and who's now passed away. And Leonard had one.
No, it's not me, but Leon Berg from Facebook is asking John if you have any thoughts about Joseph Smith Jr. enhancing the Enoch